Hello everyone, I'm going to do a makeup tutorial while also talking a little bit of what it's like to deal with the death of my mom. Yesterday was 3 months since my mom passed away. So I'm doing this makeup tutorial because my mom and I shared a love for makeup together, and I still want to remember things that she and I enjoyed, and I also just want to continue to take care of myself because that's what my mom would want. And I also wanted to discuss some information about care provided by nursing homes. And this isn't all-inclusive, this isn't all nursing homes, but my experience that my mother had with one. So I'm going to start off by using this ultra hydrating rose water and coconut facial mist by Zor. I got this I would say at Marshall's, and what it does is I tend to get a little patchy and dry during the summer, and it just gives it a nice little, my face a nice little spritz of refreshingness that is needed. And then I'm going to use this primer by Ciate London. It's the Watermelon Burst Hydrating Primer. And I'm going to put that on my face. So let's talk about nursing homes. The nursing home that my mother was staying at is owned by a company called Next Step Healthcare. And the experience that we had was not the best. So my mother was admitted into Fitchburg Healthcare on April 14th, and we were not informed, the family, that there was a COVID-19 case there. So unbeknownst to us, I'm going to switch off and actually start using this Kokie Be Bright highlighter, or excuse me, concealer, and I'm going to use that instead of foundation. I'm using this because it seems to be on trend, and my skin seems to prefer it. So I don't know what the CDC regulations were, but I guess I had the expectation that at least we would be told that the place that my mom was going to after getting back surgery had at least at minimum one patient with COVID-19. And that was not the case. We were not informed. So my mom gets admitted, and afterwards the experience was pretty difficult to get in touch with any of the staff there. You can call the main number, and sometimes no one answers. I've spoken to the staff there, and I had made complaints about my lack of being able to get in touch with anybody, and they always said that they were understaffed. So I posed the question, if you were understaffed, why are you accepting patients still? And I was told that Oh, they were understaffed, but they were staffed enough to handle that outbreak. Now, according to the CDC, Massachusetts CDC website, Next Step Healthcare owns several, over 10 facilities. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 21 facilities that I at least counted. There may be more. And collaboratively, I did the math, and these nursing homes have reported up to 296 COVID-related deaths based off of the website. This is all found off of the CDC report off of that you can get off of the Massachusetts CDC website on their dashboard. So there was only one facility located in Lee that had no nursing home cases. And then after that, there was only 1, 2, 3 nursing homes in the single digits for COVID-related deaths. And then after that, every other nursing home facility owned by Next Step Healthcare has, I would say, on average, we'll go approximately, it looks like 15 deaths or more. So you can do your research and look at this information. I'm not disputing this information. Fitchburg Healthcare has reported 23 COVID-related deaths. And then there's places as high as Norwood, which has 31 reported COVID-related deaths. Then there's, Agawam, 26 COVID-related deaths. The Dexter House, 20 related deaths. Dedham, 18 related deaths. Plymouth, 17 related deaths. It's a lot of deaths from COVID. So, just in case, because, I kind of just got caught up talking about nursing homes, I'm using Koki Be Bright Concealer in Light, which is SC762. And it works. I think I'm buying into this whole concealer as a foundation. Never did that before. I think I'm going to start. I really like it. So I am going to move on now and going to be using this Huda Beauty 3D highlighter palette. If you look at the color scheme right here, there are some instructions. Steps 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, prep. 4, apple Fiji. 2, set. Dab. I can't pronounce that. Seychelles from cheek to temple. 3, sculpt. Apply Tahiti under the cheekbones. And 4, flush. Sweep Zanzibar on the apples of the cheeks for a healthy glow. So I'm going to go ahead and follow the instructions. I just got this new brush kit by La Beauty Beauty Soy. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing it correctly, but I'm going to follow the instructions 1 through 4. So I'm going to apply this as the base to amplify lighting in certain areas. and it's a very creamy contour highlighter palette. And it seems to be it's making very luminous, a very skin perfecting look. Then I'm going to dab this on my temple. Number 2, which was the one I couldn't pronounce, Seychelles. I'm gonna have to do my research and Google Translate things and pronounce that in a way that I'm doing justice. So it's saying to do that on the temple area. And I don't know if it's noticeable on camera, but in person I can definitely see that it's smoothing out my imperfections and making a really nice, beautiful pop that it describes. Then Tahiti is going to go under my cheekbone. My cheekbone's right here. It's gonna go under it. Looks pretty. You know, I really like Huda Beauty products. When my mom was alive, I was actually just getting into the higher end products, and Huda Beauty products was something that I discovered, and I was recommending to my mom because she started, she was an older individual, so she had mature skin, and she had some spots and stuff like this, and I really think she would have really liked this palette. So I'm gonna go ahead and wear it for her and remember her. So now I'm wearing Zanzibar on the apples of my cheeks. And it added a beautiful glow. So this La Beauté Soy is a nice little facial brush. It seemed to target all areas. I was able to do highlighting, add blush, add different types of formulas on my face to, you know, add some contouring and everything. So it was a nice all-inclusive brush, considering, and this 3D palette really did its trick. So I recommend the 3D palette. So now I'm going to go on and use this Anastasia Beverly Hills. It's the Jackie Aina palette, and here is the color. Woo! The color theme. I took the brush out. I'm going to be using the brush from that set I was just talking about, and my mom loved purple and lavender, so I think I'm going to do a color story featuring that. So let's see here. I am going to start off by using, let's see, this nice pretty, this brush right here. It doesn't have, it's a fluffy brush, and I'm going to dip into Soleil, which is a shimmer color, and I'm going to put that on my crease to start off. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to layer colors My mom loved gold, purples, shimmers, and things like that. She was an artist, so I think she would really appreciate the color scheme that I'm choosing here. So next I'm going to dip into Dollars, which is a vibrant gold, almost metallic glitter-ish type of color. And I'm gonna deepen up Soleil. And you can really see the color pay off. Jackie Aina's palette is beautiful, and I really think it is a palette that works especially for individuals with darker skin tones. I think she really wanted to introduce a palette that is all-inclusive, and I think that's a beautiful message to send, to love yourself and who you are as a person. So thank you, Jackie, for developing this palette and really not being afraid to step up and represent and stand up for what you believe in. So my mother, I believe, had some situations where she experienced racism. Being an Asian woman, she grew up at a time, she was 73 years old when she died, but she grew up, and all throughout her life there was a lot of challenges with racism that she faced with name calling. Heck, even I experienced racism, and I'm half Japanese. I was born over in Okinawa, and I experienced only a smidge, a tenth of the challenges that my mom faced and other people face. So even though I have experienced racism, it's nothing compared to what other people face, and I feel very lucky. So just to do a recap, I dipped into Soleil and Dollars here. So now we're gonna go and deepen the color, and I'm going to go into Big Wig and just underneath the crease, I'm gonna go in and put in that pop of purple. And the pigments for me work really well. The formulas, as you know, for ABH, they tend to be on the powdery side, but they're heavily pigmented, so you really can get a good color payoff. So if you work with it and let the color really kind of do the finessing, you'd be surprised at the outcome that you can reach with this. So I'm going to switch over and add this color in the center called Shookington. We're gonna put that in the center here, and look at that pop. Woo. Beautiful. So what am I gonna do at this point in time? Well, what I like to do is I like to go back in, and in reverse order, I like to redo everything that I just did. So the last color before Shookington I did was Big Wig, which was this purple color. So we had Shookington, I'm going back in with Big Wig. I'm going to go back in and kind of define everything that I just did so it's nice and blended. And then I'm gonna go back into dollars. And then Soleil. Ooh, beautiful. So I'm really happy with how that came out. It's a very nice purple color, and I used one brush to achieve this look with the colors. So Jackie, Aina, thank you. Now I am going to go in and we're going to use this Sex Kitten Tarte eyeliner. And before I like to open my eyes and stuff, I found that this eyeliner tends to dry a little on the slow side, so you just want to like kind of fan it dry so it doesn't smear when you open up your eyelid. And we're gonna do the other side. Same spiel. Ooh. Fan it off. And in the meantime, and when I store these liquid eyeliners, I store them face down personally, just so that the liquid stays towards the felt tip, because I only use felt tips. I'm not capable of using gel eyeliners. I'm not talented enough for that. So I'm going to use a lip plumper by LA Girl Lip Plumper Tinted. And I have tiny lips. I once did a Botox lip flip, and it looked good for like 5 seconds. It was cheap. It was like $60. Or maybe not cheap, I don't know. It depends on what your personal opinion was, but like considering lip fillers are like, I don't know, a lot more money than $60. It looked good, but I think the effects of it went away probably within, for me personally, 2 weeks. So I am going to go in after that with this Watermelon Burst by Ciate London Hydrating Lip Oil. And it works nicely. It just has like a nice watermelon fresh flavor to it. And so we're not done yet. My mom battled stage 4 cancer and survived when she was alive, and wigs became something that represented her survival. And she also really started appreciating wigs and the fact that, you know, there's a lot of people that are fortunate or unfortunately due to treatments and stuff have to wear wigs and everything like that. So the wig industry, I think, has become more accommodating to representing the unique nature of individuals' personalities. So I am going to put on a wig, and it is a color that my mom would have loved. It is like a rose gold color, but you can get these off of Amazon for incredibly cheap. And they're not the hardest to work with, but you do have to clip them in and whatnot in the back. So I find that it's best to put, if you have longer hair already, to put your hair in a ponytail and then put the wig on, and then start brushing out your hair and everything and organizing it as such. And there are clips in the back that you can utilize, and this is a color that tends to be a little bit more on the natural side, but you can get like purples and stuff like that, and just different colors and everything. So this is the finished product right here, and yeah, this is what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to do some makeup. I wanted to do an eye look and a hair look that my mom would have liked. I wanted to just talk about some examples of nursing homes that my mother did not have a good experience with. It doesn't mean that all nursing homes will give you the same experience, but remember that please do your screening and ensure that if your loved one is being recommended to a nursing home and it's an open bed, that they're properly quarantining individuals, they're following CDC guidelines, you have a direct connection to the people that you need to. I found personally, my experience, Fitchburg Healthcare, I did not get the quality experience, and a lot of it, my mom couldn't speak good English, so I'm not quite sure why they did not routinely call my dad. There were numerous times where they told us that they were going to call and they did not, and it's just been I've had difficulty handling the loss of my mom the way that she was lost. 3 months has felt like eternity, but it also has felt like it just happened yesterday. And there's no easy way to deal with it. I lost my mom, and I feel like it's just so under the radar. These facilities, I don't know if they have the proper PPE. I've spoken to people, and there's workers that have identified to me that, you know, they've had to go back to work when they've tested positive. It wasn't with Fitchburg Healthcare, but there are horror stories out there where people are just, because facilities are so understaffed, they're making their people go back to work when they're placing their patients at risk. Also, not a lot of people want to work in nursing homes. I'm a true believer that staff members, a lot of them are underpaid and underappreciated. People do a lot, and the industry in general has to be revamped. Do your research out there. Elderly mistreatment is a thing, and we're all going to age, and eventually, if we don't do something about it, someone is going to end up in a nursing home. You may not be treated well. How many horror stories do you hear about places where patients get bed sores, they're not being changed? That was one of my mom's biggest fears, is she was so embarrassed about not being able to use the bathroom on her own and having accidents. And when she was deteriorating, it was just a common thing. And I think she died in a way that she feared, but she was loved, but she knew something was up. She knew something was up, and she protected the family, because there were times where we were on the phone, and she wasn't someone that was very vocal and emotional, because culturally she never said, I love you and stuff right before, but towards the end she said, I love you, I love you. So she protected the family by keeping her condition, her fears to herself, even though she knew, I think in her heart, that something bad was gonna happen. So please look at those numbers. 296 people have passed away from facilities owned by Next Step Healthcare. And I don't know what that means, but it's data that I think is available to the public, and you have access, and you can make your own interpretation of the information. I have my opinions, their opinions, and I think that information and data should always be researched to identify a nexus. So, do your research. Like I said, 3 months my mom has been dead, and it just feels like yesterday, but it feels like it's been 30 years. And I'm sad, I'm so sad. So, thank you for listening, and thank you for makeup gurus who are all-inclusive and are willing to step up and fight racism. You're doing a good job. Thank you.